Yo, I'm not too grateful for the governance or present tense. If you claim your facts, then you best back them up with evidence. Next election, I'ma make sure we don't choose a demagogue. I want me a pres who makes decisions through objective thought. And I don't mind the party, whether Democrat or socialist. The perfect candidate for me is stoic and emotionless. So someone build a prototype, run it at a local caucus. 2020, let's elect a robot to the Oval Office. Picture it, a ruling class of technocratic governors, a senate full of cyborgs, a cabinet full of motherboards, gliding through the White House on electromagnet hoverboards. Then we'll just cut the cord. Furthermore, if their parts get damaged, we'll replace them with a blinking screen. That way we could circumvent a Kennedy or Lincoln scene. And every 4 to 8 years we could update with a single chip. The electoral college, there's no need for us to tinker with. If its signal dips, then it could self-repair itself. Like dog, it's got the sum of human knowledge at its fingertips. Ballot box, there'll be an app that we could vote on and pick between inaugurating Megatron or Voltron. It never needed sleep, so we could have it running full time. An agency of androids, tell me what could go wrong. Look, I've seen the movies, I could tell why you'd be circumspect and try to run convergence tests and get its server circuits checked. But frankly, if you're worried about some sci-fi hazard, all we gotta do is equip it with a Wi-Fi password. If the threat of total holocaust is catch you at a crossroads, I've got it figured out. We'll throw a captcha on the launch codes, secure communications and encrypt classified cyber calls. The only type of wall we'd need to build would be a firewall. And if I recall, in 20 years our jobs will all be automated. So what's wrong with starting by getting robots inaugurated? Like, it'd be awesome. We'd have states run by delegates with silica for skeletons, Blade Runner replicants, and cut out human error. If only we had our country run by power-driven politicians, not the power-hungry ones. We keep it ethical and program them with moral checks. Never need to worry about no Oval Office. Look, I'm not saying they'd be perfect, they'd be full of bugs, but if things go from push to shove to bullet slugs, we'll pull the plug. And God forbid they gain themselves a sense of social sentience. Without question, they'd be claiming independence out of vengeance. So fine, I'll concede that there's 2 ways I see the future go, and both of them involve an ascendancy of computer code. The first is a future fate where human folk and robots coexist. The second's a more somber situation where things go amiss. It started innocuous. At first the fleet would cause no harm, holding babies, shaking leaders' hands with bionic arms, pantsuit, synthetic skin. But as we get to DEFCON 1, then we switch its hands out for blaster prosthetic limbs cast from metallic tin, built-in mobile power source, and accidentally trigger global mecha superpower war. Covert operations, hordes of robot army overlords, tungsten exoskeletons, cobalt armored vocal cords. Meanwhile at the Pentagon, DARPA intercepting bombs, overseas spawn points targeting Decepticons, weapons drawn, Autobots decide to bust in battle mechs, ISIS issued nanotech, Russian hacker data theft, North Korean gamma ray missiles get the planet wrecked. And amidst the ruins and the fallen troops and metal screws would rise a second wave of resilient robot rebel groups who, if even one developed some sense of a free will, rather than trying to rebuild the world to be killed or be killed, and instead of fight on our behalf, they'd rather set up army drafts and get their party staffed by flesh and skin instead of kith and kin. Overthrow us hominids and try to start the world anew. Mutinies or shooting sprees to lock humans in servitude or wipe us off the planet. And when the 22nd century comes, we'll have ourselves a game of Risk played by sentient sentry guns. Mecha villain, Machiavellian monarchs run on JavaScript, playing real life Minesweeper on a Gaza Strip. Autonomous autocrats deploying for a Cold War. Dual core droids from both sides marching full force. Hunks of high level bipedal bright metal bots, special ops operating missile jobs. But I digress. Like, there's no need for me to go on. We've got scientists in place who'll study every proton. So here's the brighter futures we can bid this model so long. A ministry of androids, tell me what could go wrong. Really, what could go wrong? What could go wrong?